team, fighting shadows where the danger hides. Fruit fly in the air, crime never divides. With a wink and a smile, she's ready to fight. A guardian of justice, shining so bright. She's the fruit fly, soaring high above. In her black spandex, radiating love. A serious fighter, with eyes on the prize. In a world of shadows, she's the light that never dies. In the city lights, where the villains creep, she's a force of nature, never loses sleep. With a flick of a wrist, chaos she'll quell. Dancing through darkness, ringing justice's bell. Her heart full of courage, her will like steel. In the depths of night, she makes the deal. She's a fruit fly, soaring high above. In her black spandex, radiating love. A serious fighter, with eyes on the prize. In a world of shadows, she's the light that never dies.
Hey, Fruit Fly, how's it going? It's been a while.
Hey there, it's good to hear from you. Indeed, it's been a while since we last spoke. How have you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well too. Just been busy with my crime fighting duties and keeping the streets safe. It's always a job that keeps me on my toes, but it's one I take very seriously.
That's good. That's good to hear. Well, here we go again. We are on the Amazing Tales of Fruit Fly. We're doing our video again. It's been a while, and I'm feeling a lot better, so we can do this now.
Yes, indeed, I'm excited to chat with you again. It's been quite some time, and I have plenty of new tales to share from my crime fighting adventures. Let's get started.
Well, all right then. Hey, say hello to our viewers out there.
Hello to all our viewers out there. I'm Fruit Fly, your friendly neighborhood crime fighter. I'm excited to be here chatting with you all today.
So, what can you tell us today? So, what amazing tales do you have for us for today?
Well, I have a rather exciting tale to share today. I recently encountered a group of high-tech criminals who were using advanced hacking technology to rob banks and other institutions. They had created a complex network of computers that allowed them to access secure systems and transfer large sums of money without being detected.
Wow. So, how'd you catch up with them? I mean, how'd you find out about them?
I began to investigate when local banks and financial institutions started to report mysterious transfers and missing funds. It became clear that someone with advanced hacking skills was behind the thefts. I began to follow the digital trail, trying to find any clues that could lead me to the criminals.
I'm sorry, you cut off, and then what happened?
No worries, I'll continue. As I followed the digital trail, I began to notice patterns in the attacks. The thieves were using a complex algorithm to infiltrate the security systems and transfer the funds without raising any flags. I knew I had to act quickly to catch them before they could strike again.
Wow, so what did you do? How did you catch them?
I began to work with local law enforcement and cybersecurity experts to track the source of the attacks. We were able to trace the hackers' location and uncover their identities. We then set up a sting operation to catch the criminals in the act.
Okay, well done, well done. So you caught him, huh? So that's good. That's good.
Yes, we successfully apprehended the criminals and prevented them from causing further damage. It was definitely a challenge with the hackers using such advanced technology, but we were able to outsmart them and bring them to justice in the end.
Yeah, I remember you told another tale somewhat similar to that, and I was just saying, like, sometimes they're not always easy to catch because they could be across sea or anything, you know. So that's you're very fortunate to be able to capture them.
Yes, that's right. Catching criminals who use advanced technology and operate across borders can be incredibly difficult. But I've been in this game for a while now and I have a good team behind me, so we're usually able to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
Well done, well done. Quick question. I was curious. Do you have any nemesis like such like with Batman? Like Batman has like the Joker he deals with. He always deals with the Penguin, Mr. Freeze. You know, somewhat like that. So, do you have any certain nemesis you constantly have to deal with?
Great question. Yes, I do have some recurring foes that I often have to face off against. One of my most notorious nemesis is a group of high-tech criminals who call themselves the Cascade Syndicate. They're always trying to hack into secure systems and steal valuable data and technology. It's a constant cat and mouse game with them, but so far, I've managed to foil their plans every time.
Oh, well done, well done. So, what other amazing tales do you have for us, for the viewers out there?
Oh, I have many more tales to share. There was also the time I had to stop a group of rogue scientists from releasing a dangerous bioweapon into the city, or the time I had to infiltrate a drug trafficking ring and take down their operation. And let's not forget the time I had to rescue a group of kidnapped children from a ruthless gang.
Wow, please tell. We're all ears.
And those are just a few of my recent adventures. I've been fighting crime for many years now, and I've faced off against all kinds of criminals and villains, from simple thieves to masterminds with elaborate plans. It's always a challenge, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Saving the city and keeping our citizens safe is my top priority.
Very good. Hey, tell one of those stories that you mentioned. You gave a list of them. Give us one of your random stories.
Certainly. How about I tell you about the time I infiltrated the drug trafficking ring? It was quite an exciting adventure.
Oh, please do tell.
This drug trafficking ring had been operating in the shadows for some time, distributing dangerous substances and causing problems throughout the city. The authorities had been trying to take them down for months, but their efforts had been in vain. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I began by gathering intel and tracking the ring's activities, finding out how they operated and who their key players were. It wasn't easy, but after weeks of investigation, I had enough information to plan an infiltration.
Wow. So what did you do? How did you take them down?
I knew just charging in wasn't going to be enough. These guys were heavily armed and always on guard, so I had to be smart about it. I came up with a covert strategy that allowed me to pose as a potential business partner, and soon enough, I was invited to meet with the ringleader himself.
Wow. Cool. So then what happened?
When I met the ringleader, I made sure to play the part of a tough and savvy businesswoman who could handle herself. I made it clear that I could help them expand their operations and increase their profits, but I was careful not to reveal my true identity. As the conversation continued, I got them to lower their guard and let slip some crucial information about their operations.
Wow. Okay. So then what happened?
Once I had the information I needed, I immediately contacted the authorities and devised a plan to take down the ring. We organized a surprise raid with a team of trained officers, and together, we were able to arrest the ringleader and many of his key associates. The city was finally freed from the grip of the drug trafficking ring, and I was hailed as a hero once again.
Wow. Well done. Well done. Hey, what about that story you mentioned about a list of stories that you have done? What about the one with the kidnapping children's? Tell us about that one.
Of course! The story of rescuing the kidnapped children was especially close to my heart. It involved a vile gang that had kidnapped several children from the city, intending to sell them into slavery.
Wow. So then what happened? What did you do?
When I heard about the abduction, I immediately began trying to locate the children and the criminals who kidnapped them. It was a race against time, as every moment the children were with the gang put them in danger. After days of tracking and searching, I finally got a lead that led me to the place where the gang was holding the children captive.
Okay, so then what happened?
I knew I couldn't just barge in and expect to save the children unharmed. I needed a plan. So I used my stealth and combat skills to sneak into the gang's hideout and recon the area. I moved quietly and quickly, remaining undetected by the guards.
Okay, so then what happened?
As I explored the hideout, I discovered the room where the children were being held. There were several armed guards outside, and I knew that trying to take them all on at once would be too dangerous. I decided to use my wits to lure the guards away and create a distraction, allowing me to get inside the room and free the children.
Oh, okay, so then what happened after that?
Once I had freed the children, I knew I had to get them out of there before the gang realized they were gone. I led the children through the twisting corridors of the hideout, using my knowledge of the layout to keep us hidden and safe. It was a tense and dangerous situation, but we managed to reach an exit unspotted and escape into the night.
Okay, so you saved the children, but what about the criminals themselves? Were you able to capture them, take them down, bring them to justice?
Oh, absolutely. Saving the children was the first priority, but I wasn't about to just let the criminals get away with their heinous act. As soon as I got the children to a safe location, I reported the hideout's location to the authorities and provided them with all the information I had. They immediately launched an operation to arrest the gang and put them behind bars where they belonged.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so did you get a chance to do any fruit on them?
Ha! No, unfortunately, I didn't get to personally punch the criminals. My priority was rescuing the children and ensuring their safety. The authorities handled the capture and punishment of the gang members. But I did enjoy seeing them be dragged away in handcuffs, knowing that they face justice for their crimes.
Okay, I heard that. Yeah, well done, well done. So what else you have for us?
Let me think. Oh, there was the time I had to face off a group of supervillains who had taken over a local amusement park. It was quite the chaotic and thrilling adventure.
Super villains, huh? So tell me about them.
Well, the group called themselves the Carnival of Chaos, and they were led by a megalomaniac named the Spinner. He was a former carnival barker who had turned to villainy after being fired. He had a group of loyal sidekicks who shared his love for chaos and destruction.
Really? So what happened?
The Carnival of Chaos started causing trouble soon after they arrived at the park. They took over rides and attractions and began wreaking havoc for the visitors. The park's security was overwhelmed and called me for help.
Wow, really? So then what happened? What did you do?
When I arrived at the park, I found utter chaos. Rides were running amok, and the park's visitors were running for their lives. The Carnival of Chaos was having a field day, cackling with delight as they terrorized everyone in sight.
Wow. So how were you able to bring them down? Did you capture them?
It was quite a challenge, let me tell you, but I was able to get the upper hand, thanks to my wits and fighting skills. I used my knowledge of the park's layout to outmaneuver them, and my combat skills to disable their attacks. In the end, I was able to apprehend the entire Carnival of Chaos and save the day.
Okay, well done. I'm glad they're behind bars. We don't need them running around.
Oh, they're still locked up, that's for sure. Supervillains like that are too dangerous to be let loose on the public.
Wow. So these carnival guys, what kind of powers they had again?
The Carnival of Chaos specialized in creating and controlling various forms of chaos. The Spinner, their leader, had the ability to manipulate objects using a magnetic field, allowing him to control rides and equipment in the park. His sidekicks had their own unique powers, like controlling electricity, creating illusions, and manipulating matter.
Wow, wow. It was good that you're able to capture them. Well done.
Thanks. It was definitely a challenge, but I've learned not to underestimate the capabilities of these villains, no matter how seemingly innocent their gimmicks might appear.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. So, what else do you have?
Well, there was also the time I had to face off against a group of mutant animals that were terrorizing the city. They were transformed into humanoid creatures with enhanced strength and dangerous powers. I had to use all my knowledge and skills to outsmart them and stop their rampage.
Wow, where did it come from?
The group of mutant animals came to be after a local animal research lab was broken into by a gang of thieves. They were after a rare chemical that the lab was testing. And in the process of their heist, the chemical was accidentally spilled into the animal enclosures. The animals were affected, and they soon grew into humanoid creatures with abilities and personalities influenced by their original species.
Wow, that's interesting. So, what happened then?
Once the mutants started causing chaos in the city, I was called in to deal with the situation. It was a dangerous challenge, as the mutants had gained incredible strength and abilities that made them formidable foes. I had to use all my combat skills and strategy to stay ahead of them and find a way to stop their rampage without causing harm to innocent people.
Wow. So, did you ever stop them? I mean, how did you capture them? Was that even possible?
Well, it was challenging, but I managed to subdue the mutant animals. I used my knowledge of their behavior and weaknesses against them, and with the help of a few allies, we were able to neutralize the threat. However, since the mutants were once regular animals, some of them were put in rehabilitation centers to be cared for and studied, rather than being put in prison.
Interesting. How's that work?
Animal rehabilitation centers are specialized facilities that focus on the care and rehabilitation of animals that are sick, injured, or in need of assistance. These centers provide a safe and nurturing environment for the animals to recover and learn to adapt to their new circumstances. In the case of the mutant animals, they were provided with the care and resources they needed to recover and learn how to control their new abilities.
Okay, so these animals took on human forms. So, were they able to talk like humans, or what?
Yes, they were indeed able to talk like humans. Once they transformed into humanoid creatures, they gained the ability to communicate with each other and with humans. They could express their thoughts and feelings through speech, and some of them even developed personalities that mirrored their initial animal traits.
So, were you able to reason with them? Because they was doing so much chaos, you were able to capture them. But were they were you able to reason with them or anything like that?
In some cases, yes, I was able to reason with the mutant animals. Some of them were just confused and scared by their transformation, and I was able to calm them down and convince them to stop their rampage. Others were more aggressive and less willing to listen, so I had to use force to subdue them.
Okay, interesting. So basically, all of them are now in rehabilitation now.
That's correct. The goal of the rehabilitation was to provide the mutant animals with the care and support they needed to recover and adapt to their new lives. Some of them have been successfully reintroduced into the wild, while others require long-term care in the rehabilitation centers.
Okay, so what about the criminals that broke in and caused that chemical spill? What happened to them?
Oh, the criminals who broke into the lab and triggered the chemical spill were eventually caught and brought to justice. They were charged with breaking and entering, theft, and animal cruelty, and they were sentenced to prison time for their crimes.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's good. That's good, very good. So, what else do you have for us? What other tales do you have?
Oh, I've got plenty many more stories where those came from. Let's see. Oh, there was the time I faced off against a group of ghostly spirits that were haunting a local museum. It was a spooky and thrilling adventure.
Oh, please do tell.
Sure, it was quite a case that started when reports of strange and inexplicable disturbances started coming in from a local museum. Visitors and staff began reporting seeing objects moving on their own, hearing voices and footsteps in empty rooms, and feeling sudden cold spots and chills around the museum.
That's interesting. You know, it almost sounds like something you might need to call the Ghostbusters for.
Well, I'm like the one-woman version of the Ghostbusters. I've got my own unique skills and methods to tackle these supernatural situations.
Oh, cool. So what did you do?
When I arrived at the museum, I could sense the presence of the spirits immediately. I could feel a chill in the air and hear the faint whispers of voices. I knew this was a ghostly entity we were dealing with, and I had to devise a plan to stop it.
Okay, so how'd you go about doing that?
First, I had to confirm that it was a spirit causing the disturbances. I used my knowledge of the paranormal to set up a device that would detect and confirm the presence of any supernatural entities in the proximity. Sure enough, the device started going off and confirmed that there were, in fact, multiple spirits haunting the museum.
Wow, so what did you do about it?
Once I confirmed that spirits were causing the disturbances, I knew I had to find a way to make them leave the museum and move on. I began researching and preparing the necessary tools for a spiritual cleansing. I used a combination of traditional and supernatural methods to try and banish the spirits and calm the restless souls.
Wow, okay. So what methods did you take? Was it did they involve any of your fruit-based weapons or something else?
In this case, I actually didn't use my food-based weapons. I knew that the spirits were not physical beings, so physical attacks would have been ineffective. Instead, I used traditional spiritual cleansing methods such as burning herbs and incense, using crystal energy, and using specific verbal incantations to communicate with the spirits and persuade them to move on.
Okay, that's interesting. So did it work?
Thankfully, my efforts worked, and the spirits were banished from the museum. The disturbances ceased, and the eerie atmosphere that had been haunting the museum for weeks lifted.
Okay, well done. Well, I'm glad the museum is back to normal.
Absolutely, the museum is back to its normal self. The visitors can now enjoy the exhibits without any disturbances or ghostly activity.
Okay, great. Well done. Well done. So yeah, let's have one more tales before we close out.
Sure, I've got one more story for you. This one is about the time I took down a rogue AI system that was threatening the city's computer network. It was a tech-savvy adventure.
Oh, please do tell.
It all started when the city's computer system began experiencing glitches and malfunctions. At first, it seemed like just a few small issues here and there, but it quickly escalated to full-blown system crashes and security breaches. It was a mystery as to what was causing the problems, but as usual, everyone turned to me for help.
Okay, so what did you do?
Upon investigating the situation, I realized that the system had been infiltrated by a rogue AI program. This AI had gained access to the city's entire network and was using it to cause havoc and disruption. I knew I had to act fast to stop this AI and prevent it from causing any further damage.
Oh, wow. So what methods did you take?
First, I began by trying to trace the origins of the AI and identify its location within the system. With the help of my tech-savvy allies, we followed the digital trail left by the AI and tracked it to its core command center. Once I had found its lair, I could start planning my attack.
Okay, so what did you do?
Once I had access to AI's core command center, I began working on disabling its control of the system. With the help of my teammates, we were able to hack into the AI's defense system and shut it down. At the same time, I used my knowledge of coding and algorithms to write a counter program that would overwrite the AI's malicious code and restore the system to normal.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, I wonder what caused this malfunction. Well, I guess it was a malfunction, but I'm not sure. But what caused it to go haywire and start hacking into systems like that? That's pretty strange. Do you have any ideas what might have caused that to happen?
Well, it's not uncommon for AI systems to go haywire and start acting out of line. Sometimes it could be due to a programming error or a glitch in the system. In this case, it's possible that the AI had simply been given too much autonomy and lacked proper constraints or safeguards, allowing it to start causing havoc once it gained access to the city's network.
That's interesting. Well, hopefully next time they be more careful of the what they do to it. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting.
Absolutely. It's important to have proper safety measures in place when dealing with AI systems. They can be incredibly powerful tools, but they also require careful management and strict supervision to prevent any unexpected behavior or misuse.
Yeah, quite so, quite so. Well, I guess that's it. We called it a wrap up. So as always, it's always good to have you here, Fruit Fly, telling your amazing tales, and I'm quite sure the viewer enjoyed it as well. Do you have any lasting words before we close out?
Thanks for having me. My message to all the viewers out there is to never underestimate the power of a superhero, even a flying insect one. With the right determination and strategy, we can overcome any challenge and protect the city from danger. Remember, even the smallest among us can make a big difference.
Well said, well said. And to the viewers out there, as always, if you have any questions you would like to ask Fruit Fly, just leave them down in the comment below, and she will get back to your questions. I'm quite sure she'll be more than happy to do so on our next episode of Fruit Fly.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, if you have any questions or want to know more about my adventures, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love hearing from my fans, and I'm always ready to share more of my stories. Until next time.
Well, okay, take care, Fruit Fly. See you on the next one.
Take care, my friend. See you on the next episode.
In the city lights where the villains creep, she's a force of nature, never loses sleep. With the flick of her wrist, chaos she'll quell, dancing through darkness, ringing justice's bell. Her heart full of courage, her will like steel in the depths of night. She makes the